Well, my name is Azell Cavaan. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Springfield Public Schools, and so pleased to have the privilege to MC this event today. Can we have a round of applause for the pride of Springfield, the SciTech Band? Thank each and every one of you for joining us today. We know that you were just honored this week at the Basketball Hall of Fame, and certainly your performance here today indicates why you're so worthy of that honor. We would also like to recognize so many dignitaries who have joined us here today. City Councilor Katie Walsh, can you please give a wave? City Councilor Justin Hurst was here and had to leave. City Councilor Jesse Letterman. State Representative Carlos Gonzalez. School Committee Member Latonia Naylor. City Councilor Tracy Whitfield. City Councilor Orlando Ramos. Vice Chair of the School Committee, Chris Collins.
Does he have shorts on? All right. All right. Don't disappoint me, Chris. Okay. Captain Stubing. Okay.
School Committee Member Maria Perez. Representing Congressman Neil Kareem Kibodia. State Representative Jose Tosado. State Senator Eric Lesser.
Just get off the van.
Did we include everyone? There's so many here today. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to move the program along. Please welcome to the podium our mayor. We call him the Education Mayor, also known as the People's Mayor, the Honorable Mayor Domenic Sarno.
Thanks, Azell. I've been called worse, so I appreciate that. This is a historic day here in the city of Springfield. This partnership is the first of its kind in the United States of America. It's $21 million project, and working very creatively with the city's finances, TJ Plant and Pat Roach on the school side, and Superintendent Warwick and the school committee, and with Sodexo, who has been an outstanding corporate citizen, not only delivering great services and great quality food to our students and our children, which will be even much better now, but also during the times that we faced during disasters. Well, there was a devastating tornado of June 1st, 2011. Subsequently, the freak nor'easter that occurred that same year, pre-Halloween in October. Sodexo was there for me, and there for the city, and there for our people when they were in need, when we had to open up massive shelters to make sure that they were fed and they were safe and sound. So let's give Sodexo a big round of applause. Also, key components of this project is the connecting with our young people. There's going to be training opportunities here. I believe there's about 75 jobs or so that are being also created. And there's also going to be a collaboration and partnership with the farm system. The farm system here in Springfield and Western Massachusetts, and also working with other food suppliers. So there's going to be a chain that's going to be created here that you can learn all the way from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom, and I think that's extremely important. And the quality of food, of using fresh food, fruits and vegetables, and having everything done here. Now, when you go inside, you're going to be amazed, because it doesn't do justice on the outside, the massive square footage that is in here. But once again, Springfield is known as the city of firsts. If you go down to the Lyman and Mary Wood Museum, there's 50 to 52 innovations and inventions created right here in Springfield. So once again, Springfield leads the way with first of its kind in the nation, cutting edge. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you who've been involved with this, and and the progressive leadership from Superintendent Warwick moving forward. So we want to continue on the gains that we're making in our school system with our graduation rates and our scores and kids going to great colleges, but we also, many a times, we have to help out families. And that means that we're also helping to feed them at times and to clothe them and to give them an opportunity for a positive foundation and work with their families. This will do it. From breakfast to lunch to after-school activities, and we'll make sure that each and every one of our children, our students, are going to be not only educated properly, but fed properly, so they can go on to become leaders here in the city of Springfield, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, United States of America, or the world. So to each and every one of you, thank you for your continued belief and investment in the city of Springfield, and especially our kids. Happy Easter and happy Passover to everybody. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Now will you please welcome the leader of Springfield Public Schools, our Superintendent, Dan Warwick.
And the man. I kept elbowing.
Thank you, Azell. Just like to begin by thanking Mayor Domenic Sarno for his support with the schools over the years. He's been an incredible support. We call him the education mayor because we've had so many positive programs that we've been able to put forth in the city of Springfield. This building, but over $700 million worth of building programs with MSBA during the last several years. Be it the accelerated repairs where we've repaired and improved over 25 of our buildings, or the new building projects that we've engaged in. It's really a rebirth of the public schools, but it's all part of the renaissance that's going on in the city of Springfield under Mayor Sarno's leadership, and we're very proud in the public schools to be part of that. This idea here, very, very creative, first of its kind in the country, and there are some people that deserve a lot of credit. Sodexo's been a tremendous corporate citizen, a tremendous partner in this endeavor, and my team, led by Pat Roach, our Chief Operations Officer, absolutely very, very creative, working with TJ Plant and putting the finance for this together for a first of its kind project in the country. And the mayor's always behind us with every project. So we're very, very grateful. What we're going to be able to do here is put out the best possible product, a nutritious breakfast and lunch, and even dinners now in many of our schools for our kids that's second to none in the entire country. So we're very, very proud of that. What we've been able to do is move the school system forward and move this city forward through Mayor Sarno's leadership, and we're very, very proud of this project as a key piece of this. And very, very creative thinking that went into this project, and like I say, I can't say enough about Patrick Roach, who was behind us from the beginning with Sodexo, and what a great job he did. I'm very fortunate to have such an outstanding team. So welcome. When you get to see the facility inside, you're going to be in awe like I have been, and thank you for coming out to support us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. The Superintendent and the Mayor both talked about the wonderful partner that Sodexo is for Springfield Public Schools, and now to the podium we'd like to invite the District Manager who services Springfield Public Schools for Sodexo, Mark Jeffrey.
All right, Mark.
Good morning. They can do it off the cuff, but I can't. So bear with me a second. Do you? All right. Won't get in trouble. Where's Tim Gray? Tim, you belong up here. You belong up here.
Come on, Tim.
Pat Roach,
Come on, Pat.
you belong up here. Pat, where is Liz? You belong up here. And Doreen, you belong up here. Yes, you do. I'm honored to be here to represent Sodexo and share my thoughts this morning. Author Lewis Carroll's character Alice said it best. I can't go back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Likewise, we can't go back to 10 years when planning for this center began because we were different people then. We are different people today, but our dream to build the Springfield Public School Child Nutrition Program to serve as a national leader, a benchmark for others to follow, has never disappeared. Tim Gray and I started by discussing what could be done to improve the quality of breakfast items for the Breakfast in the Classroom program. We discussed various options and looked at sites that either had or could support a small kitchen to produce those items. We took an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and sketched out what we thought at the time was an architectural masterpiece. Those of you who know Pat Roach can relate when I say when he joins in, the heavens open. We then started to expand our plans and looked at even bigger buildings and bigger buildings and bigger buildings. Many of those buildings, like this one, were not even for sale. What started as a vision to improve the quality of food served in our breakfast program has resulted in the building of the Culinary Nutrition Center, designed to improve not only food quality, but the total student and community school food service experience. Pat, Tim, and I have met so many people along the way as we strive to include business and community partners representing the faces of Springfield. We are different people today, here to celebrate the transformation of our dream into reality and the transformation of the people we have met along the way, from partners to friends. To have a vision is one thing, but to have city support from Mayor Sarno, the City Council, TJ Plant, school district support from Superintendent Warwick, Patrick Roach, Timothy Gray, and community support from Liz and Doreen is special and it's unmatched. We would not be here today celebrating without their guidance and support every step of the way. Every one of us wants to leave the world better than we found it. From improving food quality, to creating job opportunities, to educating our students and community, the Springfield Culinary Nutrition Center will change lives for generations to come, and will forever play a prominent role in the legacy of my life. We're doing it for the students. And another round of applause for our students. This center is for you. This center is not only for you, but it's for your children, and it's for your children's children. The Culinary and Nutrition Center is truly homegrown Springfield. Thank you.
Small kitchen, Mark? A small kitchen. You have before you the small kitchen. Isn't this beautiful building amazing? And it's just the facade. What's going to happen inside of this building is what's really important and what we're celebrating here today. Next, we'd like to welcome to the podium the director of the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Office for Food and Nutrition. Joining us here today for this occasion is Robert Leshin.
Good morning, everyone. What a long-awaited day. Last time I was here, I was helping to dig some dirt, and we came a long way since then. It's fantastic. I want to congratulate Mayor Sarno, Superintendent Warwick, of course, Mark Jeffrey and Tim Gray, and Pat Roach and TJ Plant, and others, and also elected officials, city council, state representatives that are here today. What a fantastic project. Something this big and systemic, I would expect nothing less from Springfield, and they've definitely pulled through. This type of a project here is showing, the absolute dedication and support that the city of Springfield and the schools and also in the city have shown, for the health and wellness of the students. A city of firsts, in terms of Springfield being the first city, the first school district to offer breakfast in the classroom district-wide, as well as at the secondary level. I was at the 200 classroom Central High School, I remember years ago, when folks thought that breakfast in the classroom at the high school level could not be achieved. No, said City of Springfield. So it's, but this type of project here shows that systemic dedication. And in terms of, it's just some small things to point out, the homegrown Springfield, that labeling, showing sort of that the professional side of child nutrition, the high quality of what the food's going to be, of what the product's going to be. the culinary center, the word culinary, these type of things in terms of looking at school food a little bit differently and looking at it as culinary, as high quality, the farm to school aspect, the local aspect. Those are very important things, and those are things that Springfield has done years ago. Now it's kind of put together with this project. I also remember several years ago on calls with Springfield, with Pat and Tim and Mark and others to try to figure out the funding situation. We had some hiccups at the beginning with USDA in terms to find the funding process that would work the best. But what a sign to see a city put up a $14 million bond for this project. That's something you don't see very often for school nutrition, and that's such a great thing that you did that. And now we're actually here. So with that, I want to say congratulations. I'm super excited for the tour, and I hope the rest of the day goes well. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Leshin, for joining us this morning. Mark referred earlier to the community support that has been an important part of this process. Dare I say, the community leadership. Our next speaker, Elizabeth Wills Ogilvie, is unapologetic in her work for demanding nutrition and helping to find ways to provide nutritious opportunities and options for students and everyone in the city of Springfield. And she has been a great voice in this process. Please welcome her to the podium now.
I always think I can do it off the cuff. I always have notes, and I never stick with them, so you'll bear with me. I appreciate the dignity of everybody else, but I have to go, wow! This is an amazing, amazing, amazing day that will not sink in for us until probably 10 years from now. Rob talked about breakfast in the classroom. Springfield has been a leader not only in our city, but across the state. People have started to dream about feeding every kid in their city because we do it. And what that looks like, for those of you who haven't been close in, is that when kids come to school hungry, you can't tell the difference between a D and a B. You can't even sit up with your head up. And so they go and see the nurse because they feel sick. And we call those hunger visits. And we used to have close to 2,600 hunger visits before we had breakfast in the classroom. They are now down 90%. So turn that into people in your head. Turn that into little babies. Turn that into high school students, and imagine that those children aren't holding their heads. They're not embarrassed by their growling tummies. Some of them are even the bigger kids coming to school because they know they're going to get breakfast. And then they stay because a committed, caring teacher sees them in the hallway and drags them to class. So we're talking about this in terms of food, but this is really about literacy. And it's really about eradicating poverty. And so in gateway cities like ours, and that's a nice word for saying cities with a lot of challenges, it can take years and years to turn yourselves around. And sometimes it's a big economic development project. Sometimes it's a transformation of downtown. Sometimes it's a rail car station. Sometimes it's a high school sports team that draws people together and makes them proud and makes them work hard and then think about in their own lives what they can do to advance the city. I happen to believe that 10 years from now, when people are asking questions about Springfield and wondering how we went from the sickest and the poorest city in the Commonwealth that nobody expected anything from, to a city where health outcomes, and as a result, life outcomes for children have changed, this is going to be one of the markers. It's hard to tell from this facade, but this is going to be one of the markers. And my prayer every day is that I'm here to see it and remind you and say, I told you so, to those people who told me it was impossible. People who told me that Sodexo was the evil empire and wouldn't work with me. And then I saw Mark Jeffrey and Chef Aaron and dietitian Erica sit across the table from high school students from our city and my then 7-year-old and answer questions about food and why the food was bad and how it was going to get better. And I have to give my son Evan a shout out because he tried every argument in the book to be with me today. This is good social learning. I won't happen again in my life. I said, you're 9, something big will happen again.
Very good, Liz.
But what he remembers is that when he told them the cheese was wonky and funny looking and blah, 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 they fixed it. And that's what the high school students remember. And the students of commerce, when they talked to Erica and Aaron about the quality of the food and how it didn't taste that great. And Chef Aaron came up with the idea of putting food flavor sprinkles out so the kids could adjust the taste accordingly. They believed me when they said this was coming. When the chefs and Abby Getman and the food court team, put your hands up. Go into the schools and they're teaching. These are young people that are working with our students to teach them about nutrition every day in the schools, and they're doing taste tests of the food that the kids are going to get to eat, and then taking the responses and adjusting the recipes accordingly. These all seem like little things that are going to help make this better. But what that does is it changes how people think their city feels about them. It changes the possibility in their minds of what can change, and it changes the possibility of their lives. We do not know what this CNC is going to do. So far, I have said nothing that was in my notes.
It was better off the cuff, Liz.
So, I gotta thank the Henry Kendall Foundation. The reason that I know this is going to be a success is because of the people behind it. We haven't just built a building, we've built committees, a committee of stakeholders and subcommittees that are focused on health and wellness, that are focused on parent and student engagement, and are focused on procurement. Sodexo employees sit down with people like Phil Corman from CISA and from Mass Farm to School, they're here somewhere. Lisa, put your hand up and wave. All of you are going to be friends by the end of this. They sit down and they talk about which farms can we buy what from. So when we talk about scratch cooking, our kids got sauce that came in prepared last year. Next year, they're going to have sauce that comes from tomatoes that grow from farms right up the road. And all of this is happening in a city that is majority people of color, that are majority poor. That's why it matters. The possibilities for my life have expanded exponentially because of my participation in this project. And I want you to think about the prospects for yours. In your everyday life, no matter what it is you do, I want you to be inspired by this center. I want you to be inspired by this partnership. I appreciate that the way they talk about me now is support and no longer that little dog with a bone. Even though I think then it was said affectionately, I was a pain in the patootie and I was unapologetic about it. I want you to become pains. Pick your spot. Pick whatever it is that you do, that you care about, that you're passionate about, and you think about how it can make something better for someone else. This center is a challenge. It's a love letter. It's a love letter and a promise to our city, to our children, to ourselves. Pick one for yourself. Make it today and show me what you're going to do and show me what we're going to do as a city and show the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that we are not just the sickest and poorest city, but we're one of the darn smartest, hardest working groups of people and organizations in this Commonwealth, and we are the heart of the Commonwealth as far as I'm concerned. Woo!
Nice job.
Thank you, Liz. I just want to be sure to tell you all before you leave to please make your way over to the tent. There are some mementos over there that have the beautiful homegrown Springfield logo on them, and we want each of you to take one home. And speaking of the logo, it is gorgeous, isn't it? It is the brainchild of Springfield Public Schools students. A challenge went out to the Visual Arts Department at Putnam to become involved in the process. We knew that we wanted a logo that represented the farm partnerships, the fresh food, the groundbreaking nature of this center. And so Mark and his team worked closely with the students at Putnam under the direction of the visual arts director there, Bob Farrell. And the logo that you see here was created by, we had so many that were submitted by his students. And it was not an easy task to narrow it down to one, but hands down, this was the favorite. And it was created by student Tamaya Romero. Tamaya is with us here today, and I would like to invite her and Mr. Farrell to the podium to say a few words.
My deacon at Mount Carmel Church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mount Carmel Church deacon.
Go ahead.
So first, I would like to thank you, my friends and family, for supporting me throughout this process. And of course, the students who worked really hard during the competition, and the teachers who guided me through the creative process through making the logo. It was definitely an amazing project. I'm proud to say that I've been a part of this and I was chosen. I definitely wasn't part of the runner-up, but I ended up getting chosen anyways. So that was definitely a surprise to me and of course to many people as well. During making the logo, I had a couple thoughts to myself, like what is Springfield and what does Springfield mean to the people who live here, the people who come by and say that they want to live here. And of course, Springfield is known as the city of homes and the city of firsts. And of course, I kept that in mind. And of course, the initiative of this project is to create and make homegrown food. Food that will be unprocessed, that'll be made from scratch, and that'll be given to the students in their classes for a better breakfast, for a better feel so that they feel more full and healthy during their classes and in the mornings, and there'll be less problems with starvation, and of course there'll be less problems with staying awake in class, which I definitely understand. So with this in mind, I had the idea, the name Homegrown, and it stuck ever since. And I definitely have, the logo definitely does have a place in my heart. It will always will. And I'm proud to say that I was part of such an amazing project.
Great job.
Well, I'd like to thank Mark Jeffrey for giving us the opportunity to do this work. I want to let you in on a little bit of a secret. Only a few people know that our original assignment was to brainstorm names for the new center. And it wasn't until we showed what we had, and that was the homegrown talent that we had, that we were asked to develop, I think, a beautiful and quality brand. So thank you very much. Good job, Mark.
I'll see you in church. On three, you're gonna look up. You're gonna look up.
One, two, three.